Easy way to attract women at the gym, at work, without being creepy. Basically, this video is about attracting women in environments where you see them over and over and over again. Now, I have built this skill over some years, so I'm going to speak on the core concept that drives this, and that is calibration, social calibration. Now, social calibration in the terms of game and theory and pickup and meeting women and interacting and being social dynamics, calibration is the hardest concept to explain because it's something you can't study. You have to get out there and experience it to actually learn calibration. But what is calibration? Calibration is understanding how to be flirty and respectful and adjusting how you interact with someone based on how they're vibing, how they're feeling you, the day to day, just the whole, it's very instinctual. So it's very much like, I'll give you a great example. Sometimes when I'm going out and approaching women, I get the I have a boyfriend rejection frequently because a lot of women have boyfriends, and I approach very attractive women who are probably in relationships. So I get the boyfriend thing a lot. And I used to always say, yeah, sure, thank you, whatever, sorry, whatever I would say. Like I used to just say something to just end the interaction. And I wanted to have a little bit more fun with it since I hear it so much. So I started to say things that are a little more edgy. For example, some girl will say, well, I have a boyfriend. And I'll say, I'm going to kill myself. Now, I can't say that to anybody in any situation. It won't land right. So I have to calibrate who I can say this to. So one girl will be clearly like she's like trying already leaving. Like she's not really engaging in the interaction as it is, but I'm like not letting it die. I'm not letting her leave. I'm like, "Yeah, but where are you from? Yeah, but what's your name? Yeah, but would you like to go out? Can I get your number? Blah blah blah." I don't want to give up immediately. As soon as I open the girl, she's turning away. She might be busy. There could be any reasons that she is trying to leave the interaction. So I continue to try to interact with her respectfully. And then she says, actually, I have a boyfriend. In this moment, because she's already trying to get away from me, I'm not going to say something so edgy, right? I'm not going to say, I'm going to kill myself. She might take me seriously. She might be like, oh my God, like, dude, you're crazy. And then walk off. So that's really uncalibrated time to use that line. But then, for example, I approached one girl who was at the mall, and when I approached her, she responded extremely positively. She even told me if I didn't have a boyfriend, I would totally give you my number. But before she said that, she's like responding really positively. She's giddy, she's smiling, and I asked for her number or something, and she said, I actually have a boyfriend. I said, I'm gonna kill myself. She's like, no, 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 don't do that. Smiling and like almost touching me. And she said, if I didn't have a boyfriend, I would totally give you my number. And so that was a better calibrated moment and person and interaction to use that line. That's kind of calibration, if that makes more sense by the examples. I am judging based on the environment and the situation and the person how I should interact. So I'm not changing who I am, I'm just calibrating how much of myself I'm going to give to this person, what kind of jokes I'm going to make, if that makes sense. It's not about changing me. That would mean I give too many fucks, which I made a whole other video about not giving a fuck and the power of that, and you must watch that video if you haven't. But this is also important and for the gym and for work. Let's bring it back to those environments because that is extreme calibration is extremely important in places like the gym because these girls are going to see you again. So you can't just go up to any girl and say, I thought you were super cute. Can I get your number? If you do that over and over again, you will become known in the gym among the women as the creepy guy who keeps hitting on everybody. You have to calibrate yourself. So I'll give you two examples of women that I've approached in the gym that were calibrated approaches. One woman, they're both very attractive. One woman, I actually saw her over and over and over again for weeks, months even, before I ever opened her. And it's because she didn't show me a lot of signs of attraction, but she was a social girl. She was interacting with other people, So I thought, okay, she's social. She'll probably accept an approach. Let me keep it indirect and just see how she responds to an indirect approach. I think I said this is the best line to say at the gym when you're really not sure about the is the girl single? Is the girl available? Is she interested? If you're really not sure, this is the best line, which is first you have to see the girl a lot. You have to see her over and over again in the gym. Okay? And then if you've seen her over and over again, you can go up to her and say, "Excuse me." She takes off her headphones and you say, "I've actually just seen you here so much and I just wanted to say what's up." And that's it. And they go, "Oh, hey, yeah, I've seen you so much too. What's up? I'm blah, blah, blah." And you go, "I'm blah, blah, blah." And then we interact. And I'm like, "What you working out today?" And then boom, we're interacting. And that's how I opened this girl. And we actually interact almost daily. And she's married. So there's no opportunity to actually date her or push it forward, which is fine with me. I don't care. And so now when we interact, and I think this also comes back to neediness. I don't have the neediness. I don't care. And she knows that. So she's comfortable interacting with me, even though I'm a single dude. And we actually, when we interact now, we end up talking so long that one of us has to go, okay, like, no more talking. We've rested for like 10 minutes. We need to get back to working out. Like, we really go deep when we interact. And then there's another girl. I'll give you a totally other example. I was in the gym, but I was at a different time. It was like 2 or 3 hours later than I usually go. So the whole gym was different groups. Like there was a couple people I noticed that I recognized, but most people I didn't know. And there was one girl wearing a super sporty, cute outfit. She stuck out like a sore thumb to me. She was really attractive. I was into her. And as I was walking around, I would glance over her and I kept catching her glancing at me. And then I kept catching her looking at me and smiling at me. So she was clearly interested. But again, it's the gym, so I have to be respectful and be calibrated and be smart about an approach. So I went up and I approached her indirectly. So I actually got next to the machine right next to her. I asked her if she was using it. And she said, "No, I'm not using it." So I used it. I did a set. She did her set. I noticed she was resting. I was resting. So I went up and I said, "By the way, I really like your tattoos." She just said, "Oh, thanks." And when she said it, she did a few things that showed me I can keep talking to her. She said, "Thanks," which the words are not that big of a deal, right? But then her body, she took her headphones not off like this, she took them completely off. She smiled. She made eye contact. She turned her body towards me. She did a lot of little things that tell me, I want you to keep talking to me. I am interested in you. And she had already showed me interest earlier by checking me out throughout the gym. So then I said, "What's your name, by the way?" And she told me her name, and I moved it forward and forward and forward until I just went for it. And I said, "By the way, I think you're super cute. I would love to go out with you. Can I get your number?" And or Instagram. "Can I get your Instagram?" And she said, "Of course." And then we set up a date for Sunday. Boom, done. Calibration was how I ended up getting one date and then avoiding getting super rejected and having a super where if I had approached that girl directly, the first girl, and just directly straight up said, "I thought you're super cute. I wanted to talk to you, blah blah blah." She's married, bro. She would have rejected me and then it would have been weird. So that's why I had to be calibrated. So in these environments, especially, you have to be calibrated. You don't have to be as calibrated in public. In public, you can take more risk. And from taking risk is how you actually calibrate better. So over the years, as I've been friend zoned because I've never been good with women except for very recently as I've become a coach and become much better with women. Speaking of, if you're trying to become better with women, you can schedule a call at the link below and work with me one-on-one. I can talk to you for about an hour, totally free, and we can make changes for you in this area. But I used to have so many friend zoned women in my life, like women that have friend zoned me. And they might have been married or in relationships or whatever. And I would kind of flirt and tease with them because they're my coworkers and we're bored. I worked in a restaurant, so sometimes we were bored. And restaurants are also super flirty. Our boss was super flirty. He was always saying inappropriate things to people, and we were just like, okay, that's the culture of the business that he created. And so we all loved him, even though he was inappropriate. So we all were a little bit inappropriate, which gave me the opportunity to see how inappropriate can I be with these women, knowing it's not a big deal, knowing that they aren't bothered by it, which allowed me to become more calibrated because sometimes I pushed it too far and I said things that were too inappropriate, that did make them uncomfortable, that did make them look at me like, what did you just say? And I said, nothing. I'm so sorry. And that's when I learned that's too far. That's too much. Okay. By being uncalibrated, you learn to be more calibrated. So those are skills you can build as you go out and approach more women. But if that is something that you're not doing and you're too anxious to do and you're interested in working with me one-on-one, again, schedule a call at the link below. Let's have a conversation about your situation and we're going to make changes for you in this area, bro. We're going to change your entire life with this stuff, man. So schedule that call. Otherwise, guys, that's all for this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.